most people, when they start a business, especially in this industry, they're transforming or they're transitioning from being a technician in another company generally, or they're just come to realize this is just the thing that they know how to do or that they can do. And so when they get into it, they know how to cut grass, right? You hear me always say any 12-year-old can cut a nice lawn, right? It's the business side that traps people, and not having enough business knowledge about what it's going to take to build the business, but then scale the business larger, because that's what everybody wants. There's a bit of ego that drives people to get into business, right? They want that recognition that, hey, I did it, or that I'm able to do something, or I've achieved something and got to some level of success in life or in business. But a lot of people fail to understand the scope of what it actually takes to run a larger business. And so building that business without the knowledge can be difficult, which is my own experience, right? I mean, I came from a point of view that how was I going to take care of a wife and family as somebody who was generally unskilled, right? In other areas, right? It was a challenge for me to even think about how am I going to get a job, right? I didn't really know what my skills or what my strengths and my weaknesses were. And so I looked for, well, what can I do based on something I do know about myself? And one thing I've always known about myself is I have no problem serving other people. I did it in nonprofits. I did it in homeless shelters and food pantries, and I did that for years. And so making people happy is a skill I have, right? So I am a people pleaser. It also is a problem as well, which I come to understand being in business. You have to really be careful, because then it can screw you up in a lot of other ways in business when you're pleasing people. I've come to understand that my pleasing people requires that I actually get paid now. Before I would please people, I'd be just so happy that I got the recognition or the acknowledgement, but my bank account was empty. So that's not good. And that's what I want to help other people figure out, how not to do that. So the lack of business knowledge is, and so I do have a growth mindset. That is embedded in me. I'm an optimist. I have no problem learning. But on the other hand, I'm deficient, I would say, or have been deficient in being able to take someone else's idea and make it a reality. That is a challenge for me. It's been a thing. Even from employees that work for me, I have great employees, right? We did every job I get. My clients are just like, you guys did a great job. Thank you. We're so happy with your work. But that's come from years of finally just letting my guys do what they do without interfering too much, or coming in and they're kind of in a rhythm, and then I come in and just say, oh no, don't do it like that. Let's do it this way. But in reality, the outcome would be the same. So this notion of do it my way, because that's the problem with somebody who doesn't or hasn't run a business or doesn't have the knowledge. I'm self-taught. I went out, I did it, right? I don't have a problem learning, but when something works, it's like getting fixated, like I got to keep this, right? As opposed to another guy come in and actually may be more efficient. It may have even a better way of doing something. And then not being able to sort of let go and say, let's check it. The thing is what's really great is we can just measure, is the way I did it more efficient and produce a better result, or is the way they wanted to do it more efficient and as equally as good a result, right? So that's just one part, right? And all the other parts of the business, not having the business knowledge can be a nightmare. And a lot of guys avoid growing and scaling because they don't have the knowledge and they don't know where to get it, right? And that's why I'm here, is I want to say, here's where you can get it. Here's what you have. Here's what we have, right? And things that I don't have, like I'm not a tax attorney or I'm not a CPA, or a lawyer in any kind of way, but I can tell you, you need to have these things in place. You need to consult a lawyer. You need to do these things. They're not things to be afraid of. They're just things you should do, and just go with that. And so that's why we have so many